It's me, So Real, bringing you my view as another little informative video with something that I feel like is just around the corner involving the next generation consoles. I'm going to be diving in and investigating what choices I'm going to make on which one console I'm going to get, and of course I'm going to be making the obvious one, the same one that over 80 million has made this generation, that's going to be going to the next generation due to familiarity, familiar grounds, and the practical choice of purchase that we made and we invested in, that's going to be like quality games that's going to be backwards compatible to play on the next generation, which is the PlayStation 5. And what also would drive us to stick with this generation, and or like someone like me that actually wanted to go back to Xbox. The biggest question is, what has Xbox done to make up for their unpro consumer practices that they made at the beginning of this generation, like the telling us that we have to have a internet connection to our Xbox, or it'd be a paperweight or a doorstop, because due to every 12-hour online check, telling us if you don't have an internet connection, stick with the Xbox 360. Or how about the unpro consumer, the DRM, no buying, trading, selling, loaning games, used games, telling what we have the right and don't have the right to do, what we purchased. Or how about lying to us, saying we have to sell our console with a Kinect because we have made our console to work around the Kinect. Without the Kinect, it would not be functional. And how long did that prove to be a lie? To find having the weaker system, now dropping it down to $100 and selling a package without the Kinect. And do you think selling hygiene products, instead of coming out with good exclusive games to sell your console, you think hygiene products are going to make up for it? Or how about a Cabbage Patch doll with a micro size Xbox One S sitting beside it like it's playing games? They have done nothing to make up for that shit, let alone to earn your faith or trust or your investment to stick around with this generation, let alone to purchase the next generation. And if you think different, then you might as well be right along with them, shooting themselves in the foot at the beginning of this generation, working their way up, shooting themselves in the leg, shooting themselves in the stomach, chest, and you might as well be just right now at the end of this generation. If you walking up to GameStop buying the Xbox Series X, you just need to go ahead and put that barrel right up to your head and pull the trigger, because you don't know what good investments is. And here's the smallest kicker. The one thing that one of my friends that still got an Xbox mentioned to me, I'm sticking with Xbox just because Xbox has got my friends that I play with on the multiplats. They've lost that. You Xbox that portrayed themselves to be PlayStation fanboys complaining about crossplay, you've cost yourself that excuse to stick with Xbox, because now you can ditch the Xbox and play the multiplats on the PlayStation, and still, because there's crossplay now, so you can play with your friends and have the exclusives that Xbox don't have, and the quality games that is not buggy, glitchy, and just lack of content or lack of promises and fulfillments that games say that they're going to deliver, like Crackdown 3.
Crackdown 3 will blow up the way you play games today. by introducing a revolutionary new multiplayer experience using 100% destructible environments. By connecting to the Microsoft Cloud, play with 20 times the computational power of your Xbox One and experience unrelenting destruction and mayhem. It's not just what you can do with a gun. It's the opportunities you can create with destruction.
So what we're showing you here is our brand new, for the first time ever, multiplayer version of Crackdown 3. If you fire a bullet in a video game, it's not physical. So this wall is physical. So every single bullet actually takes away a little bit of the geometry. But you also have to think about, where you go from there. So if you start to give players that kind of power, what it means is they could do things like carve an actual shape. And if they did that, and I remove every part around the shape that I'm making there, then physically that bit in the middle, you would absolutely expect to not be suspended in midair, but to fall out and be a physical shape by itself, like that. Now imagine that. Imagine if I could create holes anywhere in the world and actually step through them. That means if we were to have a massive building like this, a typical Crackdown style building, it means we would have to be able to go into every single room in every single building. Every building would have to have space behind it and rooms inside it. Now, eventually, as we do enough damage to the base of this building here, that whole structure will physically come down. So there it goes. Once you've done enough destruction, we've destroyed the superstructure, the whole thing comes crashing down. It's all physical, it's all real time. We can carry on destroying it while it's falling down. As the building starts to go down, and there it goes. And even when that comes down, it's so solid, so much mass, it will smash into the building next to it, take that one down, smash into the building again, and start to damage the ones behind it. And once that's down, it's still fully physical, so you get very cool moments like, there's one of the players there, now starting to use that as a kind of like a little ramp. So imagine a Crackdown if you can make your own bridges by just felling skyscrapers. And we hope it gives you some idea of kind of how excited we are about how we can make, for the first time ever, a truly physical multiplayer game, and one that, if you want to, you can actually raise the entire city in which you're playing.
you can stick with a company that takes a beloved franchise as rare and allows them to release something that's such an empty shell that leaves you feeling like this.
Avast ye mateys! Yes, the pirate game of all time has finally arrived. Joe, look at the seas. My God, it's beautiful. Are you ready?
Aye, aye.
I can't wait for Rare's return to form, Joe. Get ready, raise the anchors. Come on now. Put your back into it. Load the cannons, Joe. Load the cannons.
Aye, lady.
Load the cannons. Raise the sails. Lower the sails. Lower them. Lower them. Prepare the grog for our journey. Prepare the grog, Joe. Soon, captains everywhere shall know the name of the legendary Richard Darkness James and his first mate,
Already set sail.
Barnacle Joe. Isn't that right, perturbed Pedro?
Kill them all! Kill them all!
Let us go! Arrgh!
Wait, is that it? Is that really it? I've waited years for this stupid mustache? I bought that mustache for this game! There's no end game? There's no character building? There's no progression? What the fuck? Every quest is the same goddamn thing! I spent $60 on this!
You done fucked it up!
You done fucked it up!
The complete boring and so dull gameplay that Quantum Break leaves you to a point where you can not even have the concern or care to pause your game, that you can walk away from your console going to another room to do something for nearly 20 minutes and come back right in front of an enemy and the enemy not kill you because of the incompetent AI or challenge of the game that Quantum Break delivers you.
Hey guys, let's get started immediately on this next Angry Joe episode. Basically, it's an Xbox One title. Is Quantum Break going to be the system seller for the Xbox One? Can it bring in potential new buyers? Let's find out.
Joe, stop the review. I'm from the future to tell you that Quantum Break totally sucks. It's just fucking boring, dude. Seriously, don't play it.
Oh, God.
I made it in time. Don't listen to him, Joe. It actually gets a little bit better in Acts 4 and 5.
Oh, Jesus.
Nope, I was wrong. It still sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it fucking sucks. Don't buy it, don't play it. It even does that stupid fucking shit with the monster and the fucking boss at the end that you don't fight. You probably have to fight in DLC, man. Just don't.
Wait a minute. You idiot. When did you go back in time? If I'm here reviewing it, that means I've already fucking played it. Doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Apparently, my fate cannot be changed. It's always set. I'll have to play and review Quantum Break no matter how much I don't want to. Unless... Yeah. And then next you'll be watching a low-budget TV show without much action in it for what feels like an eternity.
Baby, you haven't been home in 2 days.
Your mom's being difficult.
Oh, I'm
She is.
I'm
She's
being difficult, huh?
She's being very difficult. What?
I don't think that's the baby. Okay. You would.
Some cutscenes are so long that your controller actually turns off, thinking that you're done playing the game while you are playing the game. Okay. I feel better. The hell is going on over here? Wait, you were there the whole time? I thought this was the sniper shooting you. Oh man! Oh man! Oh, you got me! Oh, 2 shots! But you have to reload, covering fire! Oh, that's fantastic, man.
Or you can stick with a company that has such lack of quality control that they release a game that has a title that's so fitting of its state of decay. Perfect fitting name for what the state of the game is in when it was released, and probably still is the way it is now. State of Decay.
So if you go through and you read the recent State of Decay 2 reviews, which is sitting below 70 on Metacritic, almost all of them have virtually one thing in common that they say about the game, and that is it's filled with bugs and glitches. It's literally something that pretty much every publication pointed out. Now, I've heard some people trying to defend it by saying, you know, every game has bugs. Look at all this game, and this game had a patch all the time. And that's true. A lot of games do get patches for bugs. Sometimes they're bugs that you don't even recognize because they're so random. The difference is when you can't hardly go 5 minutes without noticing some sort of issue that takes you out of immersion. And it's more than just a game with just a few bugs. At that point, it's a real problem. Now, some people are trying to say, oh, the jank is part of the series. It's what gives the game its charm. Like, really? Are you serious? Bugs and glitches now give a game charm? I mean, what's next? You're going to tell me that 30 frames per second is more cinematic? Now, others are saying it's going to get a day one patch, which it likely will. I believe the devs have said that a big patch is coming on day one. But at this point, the damage is already done. And we don't even know if that patch is actually going to resolve all these issues. And since I have seen personally so many, I highly doubt that it will. And some major publications actually stated that they were playing on a version that had a large patch, and they still tore into it for its current state. And so it begs the question, how did this make it past Xbox quality control? What has happened to quality control at Microsoft? The 3 biggest titles released this year on Xbox all had quality issues. PUBG, complete mess whenever it first released. Granted, and so I kind of give them a little bit of a pass for this, they did have the decency to at least slap preview program on it, so I'm not going to write them too hard for that one. But then you look at Sea of Thieves, actually did feel polished as far as, you know, taking out a lot of bugs and things like that, even though the servers still knock you offline quite a bit even now. But it sank a couple of weeks after it released because people realized there just wasn't a whole lot of content there. And yet they still had the audacity to slap a $60 price tag on it when they knew the content was lacking. They knew the content was lacking because everybody in the beta, including myself, said there needs to be a whole lot more here. And forget that you can rent it with Game Pass. That's not an excuse for them still selling it for $60, and a lot of people paid that price for it. That game also sitting below 70 on Metacritic. And now State of Decay 2.